was let's go. It's the Jeremy Hazelwood show. Let's go. Let's go back and go. Yes. Welcome to the Jeremy Hazelwood show. Lord, turning it on. Yes. Welcome to the Jeremy Hazelwood show. What you looking better? Let's go. What's welcome to my show? Waitress. What?
Hello and welcome to the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. This podcast is all about exploring a wide range of topics that spark curiosity, build community, inspire action, and deepen our understanding of the world around us. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe now to whatever platform you are seeing or hearing this on by smashing or tapping that follow or subscribe button. In Season 3, we're shining the spotlight on women business owners, the trailblazers, innovators, and leaders who are redefining what it means to build with purpose. Each episode will bring you stories, strategies, and inspiration straight from the women who are creating businesses that make an impact. This season, we're going to celebrate and learn from the powerful voices of women in business. Today's guest is the founder of In the Loop and the author of the book, The Golden Goose, The Ultimate Guide to Dating in Your Lane. Welcome to the show, Kara Donahue.
Hello, Jeremy.
We're going to start at once upon a time. So once upon a time, what was your very first job and how old were you?
Okay. Wow. Okay. My very first job was at Pietro's Pizza when I was 15 years old. But that was a follow-up to when I actually worked doing some marketing at Fred Meyer, which is like a Kmart. And I was a Fruit of the Loom apple. And I was standing there stretching
Yes.
underpants.
Wow.
And then, selling it, promoting Fruit of the Loom. And then I was a singing waitress at a dinner theater in Auburn, Washington.
Wait, did you do all these at the same time?
Well, I started off, I was
Okay.
wrongfully terminated from Pietro's, I believe, after just a
wow.
few weeks, but then
Okay.
I did some marketing and then I moved
Okay.
on to, I was a singing waitress and I did that quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was really hoping you weren't fired from being a Fruit of the Loom. Like
No, I was not.
what's the criteria for it? Like,
You
please
know,
don't get fired from that.
I wanted to be the fig leaf, but the pants they had feet in them, and I couldn't pull them up over my behind. And so
Oh
the
my
apple
gosh.
had a bigger thing that went over my
Okay.
behind.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. So you've come a long way. So let's fast forward to today from the olden days of working in the pizza. We're gonna fancy it, the pizza industry
Yeah.
and the early pioneer cosplay industry. And let's tell me about your company In the Loop.
Well, In the Loop has been around for 11 years now, and it's an activity and travel club for singles. We're not a dating service. So basically, what we do is we plan about 25 to 30 events every month, and then
Mhm.
6 to 7 trips a year for singles. So I do have
Okay.
4 locations. We do have Seattle, Denver, Austin, and Nashville. So
Okay.
any given month, we have about 100 or so events going on in the 4 different locations. And then
Wow.
we just got back from our single summer camp 2 weeks
Mhm.
ago in
Oh,
Colorado.
that sounds fun.
Yeah. And so basically what we do is we work with singles who want to meet other singles face to face while they're doing something
Mhm.
fun and get
Yeah.
off the apps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing 30 events per market, or that's like per
No,
month, or
yeah,
that's
about 25 to 30 events a month in each market. Yeah. So
wow.
yeah, there's sometimes people will call me and say, "What are you guys doing this weekend?" I'm like, "I'm not sure." I have,
Yeah.
house we plan all
That's
this.
like,
Yeah.
gosh, that's almost every day though. So it's like if you
Yeah.
miss one, like it's easy to catch and do another one.
Yeah. And the
Wow.
average
So
person doesn't go to 20 events a month. They go to 3 or 4.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this adult summer camp, is it just like it sounds like old school? You're sleeping in a cabin, like tell
Well,
me about it.
ish. Yeah. Our single summer camp was at a place called Glenwood Canyon Resort, which is in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, and it's on the river. It's pretty
Okay.
great. So there's actual like camping spots where they can pitch a tent, and then they
Okay.
have like air conditioned cabins with kitchens and bathrooms. And so what it's kind of like is going to Girl Scout camp when you're a young girl plus guys and Patron. I mean, it's like we do the same things you do at camp. We have the
Yeah.
camp scavenger hunt. We do the In the
Right.
Loop Olympics. Sometimes we'll
Oh
do a
my
talent
gosh.
show. We go river rafting and hiking and
Nice.
such. Yeah, we put people on teams. It's
Oh,
a blast.
nice.
It's usually the worst weekend of my life because
Yeah.
it's a
So
lot.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and and when we do it in Denver, people come from the other states sometimes where nothing's legal, and so yeah,
true.
they'll
Okay.
yeah.
That's it. All right. So it's like summertime, sponsored by
Summertime.
Patron.
It is.
Yeah.
It's adult camp, and it's really fun. It's just people can make a lot of friends and
Yeah.
meet people from all 4 locations, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay. Cool, cool. So do you have to be a member in one of these markets to, or one of those cities to go to the adult summer camp, or can
Yeah.
anyone across the
You
country? Okay.
can, but you do ultimately you can go on a guest pass because if you are a friend of a member, you can go on a guest pass and go with them.
Okay.
But yeah, you do have to sign up to participate in our activities and trips unless you're a
Okay.
guest. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take it to the beginning of this. Like, what made you decide to say, I want to start a company to connect singles? What was the origin of that?
I worked for a company, our competition now called Events and Adventures, and they did activities for singles. And I
Hmm.
started my career with them in Nashville. And I
Okay.
remember reading this quote, and this is not the exact quote, but it said something, it's something from Richard Branson from Virgin. And he had
Hmm.
said something along the lines, if you are working for a company, you can do it better than they can. You need to start your own. And
Mm.
so
Wow.
I did.
Nice.
So what I realized is when I was working for the competition, which, they did a good job doing
Hmm.
activities for singles, but I didn't like the way that the culture in which they ran it. I didn't like
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I wish they would just do it my way." And so finally I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
"You know what? I'm gonna peace out and start my own thing." And I was
Nice.
their VP at the time, and so I did. And
Hmm.
I started off in Seattle because I'm originally from Seattle. It's my home base.
Okay.
And then we
Mhm.
launched Denver and Austin and Nashville. So we have 4 locations
Okay.
now.
You know what's interesting is I talked to you and thinking on some of the other conversations this season is the guests have always found something was missing. There's like a niche that hasn't been filled, or kind of like your story, like there's something that exists, but it's missing something.
Yeah.
So having that vision and almost the lack of fear to say, well, this is already here, so I'm not going to do it because this already exists. They have a name. What gave you like the courage to just, even though there was already another organization doing this. I guess maybe it was a different market as well,
Yeah.
but just to say they already have a name and a brand. I'm going to start it anyway, just because I believe in what I'm doing.
Honestly, my locations when I ran Events and Adventures were like number 1, and I knew I could
Mhm.
do it. And I had a lot
Yeah.
of confidence that I could do it. But I really loved what I was doing and I wanted to do it in a way that I felt was more member centric, for the
Hmm.
people who join this. And I like to work for myself. And sometimes I'd sit there and listen to somebody who I don't respect a lot or somebody who their ideas aren't as creative as mine. And I'm sitting there just kind of doing that work where it's like, I can do this myself and I deserve to
Yeah.
do it myself. And I'd like to work
Yeah.
for myself because I'd much rather work 70 hours a week for myself than 50 hours a week for somebody else, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So that
Yeah.
was kind of like I knew I could do it. I felt really confident in my abilities to execute this. And I
Mhm.
had a lot of ideas that were just like popping that I wanted to implement. And so I needed to own my own to do so.
No, that's great. And for single people out there, is there a screening process, like, or is this just anyone who's single can join? How does it
N
work?
No, we do meet and screen all of our members just to make sure everybody's single, they don't have a felony, they can talk to us for 45 minutes without being a weirdo. I mean, just basics. We're talking, you know what I mean? I mean, we have a wide variety of people who join this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we just want normal singles who want to meet other normal singles, regardless,
Yeah.
of what they do necessarily for a living. But we do want everybody to just kind of be on the same page. And
Hmm.
most of the people who join are, single or divorced and their friends are married, or we get a lot of people that are new in towners. If you're single and
Yeah.
you're new in town, sometimes it's hard to create this like new circle of single friends. The
And
city
good
that
way
I
to
open
meet people.
yeah, and the cities I
Yeah.
open up in are typically cities that are growing pretty fast. So we have a lot of new
Yeah.
intainers who want to join.
That makes
And then,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, some people hate meeting people online. It's a drudge. So they'd rather
Yeah.
just go to Top Golf or go on a hike or go to a
Right.
cocktail party and meet people while they're doing something they just enjoy.
Yeah, and I have friends, I know people like that, like, they don't wanna do the apps, they don't wanna go to dating sites, like, I just
Yep.
wanna meet someone, quote, unquote, "the old-fashioned way."
Or
Yeah, organically, but you know what, I also feel like the old is the new
yeah,
because I'm been hosting some events out here in Atlanta, more like networking, business-related events, but just people being able to connect in person. There's just something that you can there's no way to duplicate that online and actually have a conversation, the body language, and
yeah,
build that memory in that moment together.
for sure.
This is not a singles club, but obviously people are single, so relationships probably happen out of this, I would assume. So for you as the owner of the company, what's it like for you when you see people connect that actually spark that relationship?
It's exciting. Actually, I've had people come into my office and tell me, "I just had my birthday, and my mom and my sister came, and that was it."
Hmm.
And then I see them a year later on their birthday, and it's like there's 20 people there,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
life changing. It's not just for the people who find their special someone, you know, but I
Sure.
just recently went to a wedding in Mexico for my vice
Hmm.
president, Danielle, and she married a
Hmm.
guy that she met 8 years ago in our Seattle location,
Oh, wow.
you
Okay.
know? And
That's awesome.
yeah, so we've had, I think it's a little over 70 couples who've gotten married through,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
And so it's pretty cool. But aside from just the people who've gotten married, it's the people who their lives have changed through just having
Hmm.
friends, or, you know, it's like you're on a party bus with somebody and you start talking about business, and all of a sudden you're interviewing for their company 2 weeks later,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people, sometimes people use it just to make friends. Sometimes they use
Hmm.
it to travel the world, not by themselves. And some people want to meet somebody special. So it's a wide
Right.
range of why people do this. But
Yeah.
I just had a big birthday in Vegas a year ago, and you know,
Mhm.
about 30 of my friends came, and half of them were women.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
worked for me, you know. So
That's
I think
awesome.
for sure it's so
That's
much fun
great.
to see people live their lives.
Yeah.
And
And that says a lot about
yeah,
you, Kara. Like for people to travel, yes, it's Vegas, but there's people that don't like Vegas. But just to come out and travel, it says a lot for what you're creating or what you've created as a business and how connected people feel to you for what you're doing and how you're building and connecting other people.
it's great. I mean, how great is it to have somebody come over to you and give you a hug and say, "Oh my gosh, I just had this huge surprise birthday party and I didn't really know anybody in Denver last year." And
Yeah.
that's what I love the most about my business. And it's awesome, you know, to see people meet somebody special. A couple of our ex-members just had a baby a couple of months ago. So you see that
Okay.
too, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Different life phases. And
Totally.
they've created a community almost for people to be connected with
Yeah.
and support them through these different life phases. So that's
Yes.
awesome.
And I do like being a wingman. There's something
Yeah.
great about being like, "Hey, Jennifer, code red, get your ass
Oh.
to the cocktail party this night." Yeah, because you know, you
Oh,
meet people, and
right.
I call it sometimes for sure. I'm not a
Yeah.
matchmaker, but I have
Yeah.
eyeballs and I'm not stupid, and I
But I was gonna
get
say it's kinda yeah, it's a
a
little in the
vibe.
matchmaking category.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get a little bit of a vibe from somebody and you're like, "Hey." And some of the people I get a vibe from might be 70 or 22. I mean, we have people
Right.
in their 70s who join, and we have
Yeah.
people in the 20s who join for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's why you are the Golden Goose,
Oh,
who wrote the ultimate guide to dating in your lane. It's the name of your book.
yeah.
I believe it's available on Amazon. Is that
It is.
correct?
It
All right. So
is.
tell me about this book.
It's about a 45-minute read. It's about this big, but
Nice. Just how I like it.
it hits the most important parts about dating, I feel.
Yeah. So tell
Yeah.
me, like, why would who's this book for, and why would they pick it up?
This is how it came about, and this is what I want to say. This is what the voice of my book is this. Oftentimes I meet with people one-on-one, and they're single, obviously, and they talk to me about, "Hey, you know, I'm single, maybe I don't want to be single." And then I see some of the things they say to me. I'm like, there's a reason why they
Mm,
perhaps aren't meeting more people. And a lot of it
right.
is, I feel like with the digital age, people have this idea, this perfect idea of what people need to look like and what they need to be before they'll ever meet them or even attempt to have a cup of coffee. And
Yeah.
I find that oftentimes people don't want to date in their lane.
Hmm.
And so I did write a book in regards to just putting yourself out there and really opening yourself up to maybe a slightly larger range of people, you know,
Mm,
because you never know. Like, I'm really tall, I'm 5'10". And who's to
hmm.
say if my future husband might be 5'9", but I swipe past him online because he's 5'9"? But who
Mm,
cares? He
true.
might be
Yeah.
fantastic in the sack. Who's to say? You know, and so he could be a
Yeah.
king. But the thing
Right.
is that what's happening is that people are just not giving people a chance. And I feel like if they just would open themselves up a bit more to
Yeah.
meeting a wide variety of people, that would be good. And
Okay.
also, I think sometimes people don't know where to start. It's like they're
Yeah.
single and they're like, what am I supposed to do? And I always
Mm,
say, start meeting people. Just put yourself
mhm.
out there. Because instead of watching the football game at your house, Mr. Right doesn't know where you live. You know, get out of the house and go to a local
Yeah.
bar and actually talk to people, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, so the dating in your lane is the lane, because what you described almost seems like you're widening your lane.
No, what I
Because,
mean is,
okay,
okay,
yeah, tell me what
to
that
be a
means.
little bit more harsh, I might have
Hmm.
somebody come into my office. Let's say the guy's 55 and let's say
Hmm.
he's 80 pounds overweight and
Okay,
he is making minimum wage. He'll say to
okay.
me, I would like to meet a woman between 35 and 40 with a six pack
Hmm.
who's making some money. And
Right.
I'm like, put down the crack pipe and let's have a real conversation. Right? So, what I
Okay.
mean is sometimes that man might say to himself, his lane is, I want to meet somebody who's 35 to 40. By the way,
Yeah.
women do the same thing. It's not just the
Yeah.
dudes. But yeah.
Sure, sure.
And so I say, let's open up that lane a little bit, sir. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Because
Gotcha,
generally
gotcha.
people like people that are like them a lot of times. If you're
Right.
funny and snappy, you want to meet funny and snappy. You know,
Yeah.
if you're really fit, like I don't think a really fit guy wants to date me because I don't want to run a triathlon with him. I want to sit on my ass and eat brunch with him. You know, so if he's cool with a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
cushion, you know, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And
But
likes brunch.
yes, but I'm
Mhm.
not going to just say, well, I only want a guy with a six pack, even though I don't have a
Right.
six pack. See what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Or
Yeah.
hey, I only want to date this exact thing. And
Hmm.
sometimes everyone likes what they like,
Yeah,
but
of course.
sometimes open it up a little bit and think about who you are.
Yeah.
You know, what are
Just
you
being
bringing?
realistic with that.
Be a little
Yeah,
realistic.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep,
Because I
yep.
feel like the amount of people who are like, I want somebody who looks like Halle Berry circa 1990. I'm like, sir,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. It's
Like,
not gonna happen,
it's not going to
sir.
happen.
Not
So
gonna
if you
happen,
really don't
sir.
want to be alone, then
Yeah.
you have to, you know, take some inventory on yourself and
True,
see where
true.
you land. And then think to
Okay.
myself, okay, these are the things that I really want. And oh, I heard something really great said to me one time, which I thought was great. If you're looking for a mate, this is what you need to do. You
Okay.
need to write down the top 5 things you really want in that mate. And then you
Okay.
have to look at that list and say, am I bringing all 5 of those things to the table? And
Mm,
if you're not, you
okay.
need to cross that off your deal
Okay.
breakers.
Nice. That's great advice. And before you say anything else, because we need people to buy the book, we don't want to give it all away. The Golden Goose, The Ultimate Guide to Dating in
Yeah.
Your Lane by Kara Donahue, available on Amazon. Go check it out. And I will try to remember to put it in the show notes whenever I post this on YouTube and on the platforms.
Cool. Cool. One other
So,
thing really quick, Jeremy, is when they do
yeah, yeah,
read
yeah.
when they do get the book, there is a little test you can take that
Hmm.
is to figure out what your lane is.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Going back to the business, In the Loop, is this the first company that you've ever started?
Yes and no. I used to sing in a band for a living. So I did
Hmm.
start a band called Moxie and in
Okay.
Seattle. And we actually worked about 50 weekends a year as a cover band for maybe 4 or 5 years. And
Okay.
then I started a company called Funky Diva DJs, and I used to
Okay.
DJ weddings. The only reason I did
Nice.
that was I DJ'd a friend's wedding instead of
Hmm.
singing at the wedding. And I made more money DJing than I did singing
Wow.
in an awesome band.
Yeah. And there's
So,
so much to put together with the band versus a DJ. Not
oh,
to
I know.
discredit the DJs, but it's just,
Yeah.
there's more that you have to put together.
Yeah. And my DJ
Wow.
was like just doing weddings. So, yes, I owned that. I owned a band and I owned that company. So, I was used to, I mean, I started my own 4-H group when I was in junior high school, the Big
Yeah.
Buckaroos. And so I've been
Nice. You've been
seriously,
finding little businesses here and there.
yeah.
But I
So,
take
and
it, do you,
doing
you
it.
still DJ? Do you still jam with the band every now and then? Or is that you've moved on
You
in
know,
life?
I jam with the band once in a while. I mean,
Okay.
I only DJ if I absolutely have to. Like one of my
Yeah.
events, the DJ didn't show and I had to do it. I don't,
Oh,
I'm not good. I'm not like a good DJ. I'm just,
yeah.
I'm below, I'm a C minus. I'm a C minus, maybe a D. As a
Hey,
singer, I'm a B minus. And so,
yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's still fun. I can really, you know, wow them at karaoke at Applebee's on a Saturday night, but I'm
Right.
not
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
kicking ass and taking names.
Right. But as long as the money's like B minus to A minus money with
No,
talent, who knows? I don't know.
yeah.
That's awesome. No, it's always interesting to hear, business owners, like what else they've done before or what they're doing now on the side, because I do know people who, aren't necessarily making money from music or a band, but even though they
Yeah.
own a business, like they may still play bass in a band on
Well,
weekends or something like that, because it's still
yeah.
like that creative outlet for them.
For sure.
So it doesn't
You
always
know,
have to just be work, work, work. I think there's this perception amongst entrepreneurs that if you own a business, you're working 80, 100 hours a week. You don't sleep, you don't have a life, and it doesn't have to be that way.
I agree with you, but it is that way for me.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I 100% agree with you. I haven't had the work-life balance luxury yet.
Yeah,
That also has to do with being a single mom. Because if I had, you know, a mate who could provide me with like, I don't know, health insurance, then
yeah.
it would be a slightly
For
different.
example.
Well,
Yeah,
for example, health
yeah,
insurance that I don't have to
mhm,
purchase myself, things like that, then
yeah,
it would probably be a little bit of a different landscape for me where I could have
yeah.
some work-life balance.
We'll talk about that with your son and you
Yeah.
being a single mother and running your business. Like, how do you manage family with all that?
I am the absolute best mom I feel like I can be with working the
Hmm.
hours that I work and not having any
Yeah,
financial. That's it.
yeah,
My whole life is running my business and taking care of my son. You
yeah,
know, but luckily running my business could be going to a Nuggets game, you know, or hosting
yeah,
single summer camps. It's definitely hard. And I think that the single moms out there know that. The single
yeah,
moms out there
yeah.
who own their own business, it's like if I don't sell this membership, I may not make rent. You
Right.
have to work. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know how moms do it that have 3. I have 1
Oh,
child.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I think that my son sees a mother who adores him and is
Hmm.
working her ass off and is trying to
Yep.
make sure that he is covered. And
Yeah.
when he's an adult, he'll see that. He'll say, okay, maybe my mom wasn't a part of the PTA, but she, you know what I mean? Or I couldn't
You're not
be
missing
there
much
for
there.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
As
maybe
a
she didn't
former
do that.
PTA president, you're not missing much not going to the
No,
meetings.
seriously. But yeah, I feel like it's hard for anybody, but it can
Yeah.
be particularly hard when you own your own business and the buck stops with you.
Sure, sure.
But yeah,
Yeah.
doing
And I
okay.
think part of it is just allowing grace for yourself and you love your son, you love family, and just having a space for you to know that your son is going to, like, he's watching you. I know that just from seeing you work, you're instilling that work ethic in him. And I'm
Yeah.
sure he feels love because it's the two of you, you know? When he gets older, there's certain things that he'll understand then that he may not understand now. But one thing that he will understand is the value of hard work and getting out there. And if you want to make it happen, you have to do it,
You have to
you
make it
know?
happen for sure.
So, and I think it's one thing or another. Either he's going to see him like, I want to be like my mom, have my own business, or like, you know what? I don't ever want to do that. It's too crazy and I'm going to work somewhere else. But
No,
either
he
way, he's
wants to
learning
take over in a
something.
loop. He wants to
Oh,
take
does he
over.
really?
Yeah. When
Oh,
I've had him help
yes.
me.
The
So
heir to the throne.
well, yeah, I had him help me. We were like setting up, they have a reservoir here where we're like setting up, you know, like a
Yeah.
tent for a paddleboard event. And
Yep.
you have to walk like 3 blocks back and
Hmm.
forth, bringing all the coolers and stuff this summer in the tent. And I said, well, I'll give you $20 if you help me. And he goes, that's not even minimum wage.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to look it up. And, and then
Yeah.
he said to me, okay, well, minimum wage, whatever, is $14 an hour in
Yeah.
Denver. And then I said to him, well, here's the deal. You either get $20 or you get 0. So make a
There you
decision.
go. Right. It's your choice. Let's learn the value of work and you're going to end up better than where you were when you woke up out of the bed this morning.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Oh
he
my
he
goodness.
hustles. He knows.
So for this company, just starting it up, what was the funding like? I'm not necessarily looking for a number, but like, where
Yeah.
did you get the funding? Was this like you funded it yourself? Did you have investors? How did that work?
I had an investor that invested 150,000 and then I
Okay.
invested about 40. So I started it with
Okay.
a little $200,000. Our
Mhm.
second year, we just really boomed, but it was a hard road to hoe. When you start your own business and you have to remember to pay yourself, you
Yeah.
know, because
Yeah.
you're scared. And I went from a pretty cushy job as a VP to
Hmm.
doing this, but I did have just a small investment made. And
Hmm.
then I pulled out the money that I had and put myself into it. But the one thing that I knew, and I feel like it's really important when you get your seed money, is I knew I could sell it. I knew I could
Hmm.
market it. I mean, I knew I could book an appointment, sell that person. I knew I could run the events and create a calendar of activities. And I knew I could do all aspects of the job. That's my particular kind of business. But I
Yeah.
always find it interesting when people start a business, like if you start a cupcake company, but you've never made a cupcake.
Right.
And it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Or you've never
Yeah.
sold one. And so it's
Yeah.
hard to say, well, okay, you want to own this cupcake company, but
Hmm.
you don't know the ingredients of a cupcake. You don't know how to
Hmm.
frost a cupcake. You don't know how to sell it. You don't know how to market it. I knew how to do
Yep.
all those things.
True.
So looking back, maybe I was naive, but I thought I could do it, but I did surround myself with some solid people,
Hmm.
CPAs and an attorney and things like that to get myself
Yeah.
started going in the right direction.
Well, and it's been 11 years, so whatever you're doing is working. Now, I'm not even going to say flawless because I know business can have plenty of challenges.
Yeah.
And speaking of those, like what are some things that you've learned along the way, like the challenges where you're like, man, if I could have done this different, I probably would have done this instead.
I think a lot of times when you own your own business, the hardest part is people,
Hmm.
is employees and how to deal with that. I've been very lucky to have some amazing employees that have done great work for me. Some of the people who work for me have been with me the whole time. I have 2 people who've been with me
Wow,
for 10 years. Yeah.
that's awesome.
I would say that looking back, if I could have maybe found a mentor to help
Hmm.
me through instead of having to learn it the hard way, whatever that hard way
Yeah,
is, that would have been
yeah.
great.
Hmm.
So I try to do that for other people. I think that making sure that when I do hire people, you want to make sure that you still have that boss, you're the leader and the
Yeah, yeah.
employee, because with what we do, it's such a social thing that you could be
Right.
really, really good friends with somebody and really, really like them. Having that gray area that can be a little bit fuzzy when they're not doing their
That
job
makes sense.
is,
Yeah.
not just be friends with the people you work with. I think is important to
Hmm.
hold that and also ask. If you don't know
Hmm.
something, don't just assume, just ask. Because
Yeah,
I ask so many questions. It's like, I have a degree in music. I didn't know
yeah.
how to get a merchant account,
Mm,
And so
yeah, right,
it would
right.
have been great to talk to a couple other business owners to say, hey, listen, when you get a merchant account, what is a high, interest rate? Like, things like that where you
Yeah,
can ask people some questions. And I feel like with a lot of female owned businesses, there's not the mentorship that
yeah.
male businesses have because there's fewer of us.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I feel like if you are a woman and you're starting a business, try to connect with other women because the one thing women are connectors and we share
Yeah, yeah,
and women
yeah,
will help you. And I should have done that because I'm so independent and I didn't do
yeah.
that enough and I should have. That's something
Well,
looking back
yeah.
I would have done a bit more of.
Well, it's good with what you're saying, though, is just having that wisdom that you've gained through the years, and it sounds like it's reinforced an importance for you to give back to other women who are starting businesses or need a help or possibly a mentor. Just even offering some tips of advice. Going through what you've gone through has given you that kind of wisdom to help the next people that come behind you. So
Yeah.
it's still all value. So that's really good. What would you say is the hardest part of owning your business?
I would say the hardest part is not having a day off, and that's my fault, nobody
Yeah.
else's. But
Hmm.
I've made myself too accessible in some ways
Okay.
to some people.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example.
Mhm.
A lady texted me at 9 a.m. on Christmas morning asking me to sign her up for the bowling event the following week. Now, she could
Nice.
have gotten her ass online and just
Yeah.
logged into the website and signed up. I feel like you do have to have some barriers to
Mhm.
to do that, and I feel like that's something I'm learning to do. But
Mhm.
having some boundaries with your clients so that I'm not on 24/7 is something that
Yeah.
I think other people can learn from me to not do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That makes sense. And on the flip side, what's the best thing about having your own business?
The best thing is that it's my creation. I
Hmm.
did this and I like it that it's mine, as in, if I want to be creative and say, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be really fun for us to do this theme party? Or I'm going to Ireland in March, I'm going to St. Lucia in May, I'm doing Greece
Hmm.
in July, is planning these trips and actually going on them and seeing
Yeah.
everybody enjoy their lives. So the best part is the creativity and
Hmm.
being able to own that. And then
Yeah.
also seeing the fruits of the labor, which is our happy clients. That's the best part.
Yeah. It's almost like your history of being in a band. You're still kind of doing that. You're still the lead singer and you've got the different players in the band that you're bringing together whenever you're creating these events and everyone kind of plays their role and has a good time. So
Yeah.
it's just being executed a different way than what it was back when you were a wedding DJ. And back, gosh, I wish
A
there's got to be
C
footage of that
minus wedding
somewhere.
DJ.
I would love to see footage of you like behind the turntables with
Right.
your
I couldn't
headset
even
on.
do like waka waka waka. I'm like,
Oh man,
and this
you're
is
just
when
like
I had
push play.
CDs. I had
Oh
good
yeah,
old
yeah, yeah.
CDs. We just have to. I could fade it
Gosh.
in and out a little bit. Yeah, it was bad.
Ooh, all the tricks, all the tricks. Yeah. So out of your vacation places or
Yeah.
activities rather, what is your favorite activity to do with your groups?
I would say that we do this thing called the In the Loop Olympics, which is like
Okay.
adult field day, and it is
Mhm.
ridiculous. It's the worst phallic games I can think of. It's the stupidest thing, but we put people on teams,
Yeah.
and so you have the red team and the blue team and the yellow team and the green team, and you guys
Mm,
fight it out on the field. And most of
yeah.
the time, it's like I've bought those, those things, those round balls when you're a kid, you sit on and you bounce on those.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I remember. They have
they
the
have the
handles on them, or
yeah,
no?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
remember
we'll
those.
do
Yep.
that, or we'll just do, when you pop the balloons between each other's bodies. It's
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
And instead of doing a pie eating event, which has made somebody sick in the past, I just do a bowl of Cool Whip instead. Because I feel
Yeah.
like Cool Whip is fine. It's
Yeah.
you can eat a
Dogs can eat
better
it,
than a
so
pumpkin pie. Yeah. So
true, true.
the In the Loop Olympics, because it's like team building, but the pictures I have of it and the videos I have are beyond hilarious. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite. And then I love theme parties. I love our ugly
Mhm.
sweater Christmas parties, and then,
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I love that kind of stuff.
Nice. And then when you vacation, whether it's with the group or not, where's your favorite place to go?
Oh my gosh, man. I would probably say I do love Italy. I know you love Italy.
Okay. I
Yeah.
do love
And
Italy.
yeah, Italy and Ireland. I love Italy.
Mhm.
I love Ireland. I could live in either place for sure. I just visited Scotland and it was fantastic. So
Mhm.
I enjoy that too. But I think Italy and Ireland, and I do love to go to New York City and go to the theater. So that's fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, New York is always a good trip. I enjoy going to New York as well.
Yeah. Right.
So tell me what you've learned about yourself through this whole entrepreneurship journey.
I think what I've learned is I'm more capable than I thought I was.
Mm.
I have learned I've had to be tough being a female business owner. I can't tell you how many times somebody's like, well, they don't like the answer I'm giving them. So they're like, well, let me talk to your husband. I go, well,
Mm.
I don't have a
Yeah.
husband. And when I did, he didn't own this business. So what? So I guess I've learned about myself is that I can do it. It just may not be in the timeline I want it. So I've learned that. And I've
Mhm.
also learned that I do need a break sometimes. You got to be forgiving of yourself if you don't get everything done or it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Just be a little bit more accepting for sure
Mhm.
that I can handle it. I can handle more than
Yeah.
I thought I could.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's great insight. And you've done plenty and taken some bumps along the way, but also had some victories along the way. So being
Yeah.
able to sit in that and look at yourself and say what you've learned is really powerful. And I think it can help other people. If you are able to instill hope in another woman who's considering starting her own thing, what would you say to her?
I would say make a plan, because if whatever you want to do, whatever that business is, write it down and make a plan. Somebody said to me something that like eating an elephant is one bite at a time,
Hmm.
and so I feel like always look at your plan and cross off after you get a task done, just do it and persevere, because it may
Yeah,
take you longer than you think, and it may be harder than you think. Put yourself out there, keep on meeting people. You never know who the next person is who might want to invest in your business.
true.
Find out about funding yourself. There's
Hmm.
AI out there. You can actually find out a
Right.
lot.
A
But
lot
I would
easier
just say,
now.
yeah, just stick it out. Just keep on going, because at some point something's going to give, but don't stop. And also, I can't tell you how many people would roll their eyes at me. I go, I'm going to open my own activities club for singles. And they'd be like, yeah,
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah. And now I have 4. So, yeah. So it's
That's right.
kind of like,
Show them.
yeah, I showed them. I'm
Yeah,
going to have my own band. And I was like, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And it's like, I
And
showed
you
them.
did it.
And so,
Right, right. I'm going to
yeah,
DJ weddings.
yeah, I'm going to DJ those weddings. No,
No, but
but
that's it. It's like the
whatever.
naysayers. It's like, yeah, don't let the naysayers talk you down. If you
And your
believe in
naysayers
something,
may
just
be
go after
your
it.
siblings.
Oh my
Your
gosh.
naysayers may be, yeah, it's just the
Yes.
people and those are the people
Closest to
who
you.
don't have the vision,
Hmm.
right? They don't,
Exactly. That's
and the
hmm
chutzpah, the moxie to do
hmm
it, right?
there you go.
For
No,
sure. So
that's great advice.
yeah.
No, thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful advice. So we've come to the part where we're breaking out the clarity cards.
Oh, the clarity cards.
The clarity cards. And your question is, when was a time that you felt different from other people? When was a time that you felt different from other people?
I would say that in the second grade, by the way, just to say this, I've always felt different than other people.
Hmm. Mm.
Even if I wasn't, even if it wasn't
Yeah.
that unique or that special, in my heart, I've
Yeah.
always felt that I was different. But I
Yeah.
remember when I was in the second grade, they had a little pageant, a little Christmas pageant. And
Mhm.
I remember I sang Go Tell It on the Mountain. Do you know that song? Go
Oh, of
tell it on the
course.
mountain.
Yeah.
I remember some of the kids were like, and I
Mm.
was like, I'm gonna do my thing. And I just felt different than them. I was just different. I just felt I was different and unique when I was in the second grade singing Go Tell It on the Mountain,
Yeah.
and I didn't mind being center of attention and I didn't mind being different. And I didn't care if they talked about me. Go ahead and talk. I remember that in the second grade,
Mm.
So I
Wow.
just felt I was just wired a little different.
Mhm.
So, and I probably am.
Wow.
I'm not. But I in
Yeah.
your in but I've always felt like I had something to say and that
Mhm.
what I had to say was important, but if it's not, so yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I felt different in the second grade.
Wow, that's interesting. Like
Yeah,
all the way back to second grade, because
I
some of the
remember.
things that you just shared of you singing and people talking is still some of the things that, in my words, maybe inspired or motivated you to do things anyways. They chattered when you were singing the second grade, you're like, I'm going to sing this anyway. They may have talked about you when you were going to start a band, you did it anyway. And we've talked about you when you were going to start a singles business, you did it anyway. So it's like this theme, like you're going to do it anyway. And it's almost, and I don't want to speak for you because now this is like my own stuff. Like I
Yeah,
get inspired like
no,
by the
yeah,
haters and the people who encourage me. So it sounds like kind of the haters in a way, or the talkers like, okay, I'm going to show you and I'm going to do it anyways.
yeah. And I also feel like people hear so much of that. If you
Hmm.
hear something negative about yourself, I did an off-Broadway cabaret when I was like 20 in New York City when I was singing. And I remember people loved it and they thought it was so great. And one girl said, well, you looked really fat in that red dress at the end. And I
Wow.
remember after that, all it was a narrative in my head was how fat I
Wow.
looked in that red dress. Right. And after a
Wow.
while, I thought to myself, she probably wouldn't be saying that to me if she was doing an off-Broadway cabaret.
Mm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And it's
Yeah.
not that
Yeah.
I hate the haters, but
Yeah.
it was like, well, you're not going to front a band because I'm too tall or too chunky or whatever it
Yeah.
looks like. It's like, well, that's not true. Because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
carve your own space,
Hmm.
you know? And it's not even about the haters, but it's about like, who cares? Down deep,
Yeah.
you just have to say, I don't really care if
Exactly.
I have to like what I'm doing. And I definitely
Hmm.
like working for myself better than I did working for somebody else.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
No.
most of the time. Every
Right.
once in
Most
a
of
while,
the
it would be nice to not get a call and a text on Christmas morning.
time. Right. Especially for something that can be resolved online. It's like, did you Google it first? I'm like 5 levels beyond you Googling. If you can't, that's like option one. And
Oh,
I'm like option five.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm option
No.
5.
Yeah. I get that. No. Well, Kara, thank you so much. I've enjoyed our discussion. What's a good way that people can reach out to if they want to contact you?
You know what? They can go to my website, which is intheloopsingles.com. And
Okay.
all that information's on there, just intheloopsingles.com. And I'm on LinkedIn under Kara Donahue.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And to the listener, thank you for tuning in to the Jeremy Hayeswood Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to follow or subscribe so you're always up to date when the new episodes drop. And until next time, keep following your dream to find your purpose.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Let's go.